In this module, I want to talk about some of the things you cannot do on Amazon. These are some of the things that will get your account suspended. There's a lot of people that don't play by the rules, especially in some of the Eastern European countries, and in China is where a lot of it happens. But even in the United States and in Europe, there's people that they maliciously don't play by the rules. They use what's called black hat or black technology or gray hat techniques. Black hat is something that is obviously it's manipulative. It's like hacking. It's like this is totally against the rules, and you know it's against the rules. Gray hat is something that's like it's kind of marginal. It's like, well, Amazon doesn't say you can't do this, but you kind of know you shouldn't be doing this, and so that's kind of what gray hat means. Those are things that you want to stay away from. A lot of times the hacks or the little quick tips that you see on Facebook or in some other groups are the things that can actually get you in trouble. Remember what I said in the beginning, the best thing is treat this like a business and focus on the core stuff. It's not the ninja hacks, it's not the little tactics that will get you ahead. Yeah, those might work for a month or two, or there might be manipulation. Some people build their entire business around those. Some of the Chinese sellers especially build their entire business around those. There's entire groups out there that are nothing but black hat and gray hat techniques and how to beat the system, how to manipulate the system. I recommend you stay away from all that stuff. But sometimes you can get into trouble and not realize it. You can do things that I didn't know this was against the rules. I thought because everybody else is doing it, it's okay. So I just want to talk about a few of these things that can get you in trouble right now, just so you're aware of them, and hopefully you can avoid these on your account. Because if you get suspended, it could be for a day or two. It could be you could get a 21-day suspension. I know people have had 3 or 4 month suspensions. I know people that have had a year long or more. And there's even some companies that have been completely kicked off the Amazon platform. And you don't want to have that happen. It can mess with a lot of things, a lot of people's lives, a lot of money. And sometimes it happens to innocent people and they don't realize it. But so you need to be aware of these things. One of the things you can't do is you cannot divert people from the Amazon platform. You can't put URLs or links inside of your listing. Let's say go to my website to get more information. You can't post URLs on the images. Sometimes people will put on their images, they'll put like, you'll see the URL on the image, or maybe it's on their packaging, and there'll be a URL in there. That's against the rules. You can't divert anybody off of the Amazon website. And so now it's okay in your package inserts. People always say, are package inserts allowed? Can I send someone to my own website? You can. On a package insert, that's like a little card. We talked about that in another module that you put inside the box that tells people to go register for a warranty or get a free gift or for some reason for you to send them to your website. That's totally fine. You can put URLs there, but you cannot do it in the Amazon platform. You can't do it in the emails that you send out. If you're using follow-up from Helium 10 to send out follow-up emails to customers after the fact, you can't put links in there. Amazon will strip them out. The only links that you can put in there are to Amazon itself. So there is a way where if you need to host a video or you need to do something, and you're hosting that on what's called it's on the Amazon platform. It's on their system, on their web services system. You can do that, but that's a little bit more of an advanced technique that we're going to not talk about here. But there is a way. But you still, even if you're doing that, it has to be for a legitimate reason. It has to be for a customer service reason, or here's how you use the product. Here's a video or something like that. It can't be to divert them off. So don't try to divert people off of Amazon itself. But it's okay once they've ordered your product to actually have an insert in there that goes to your own website. That's totally okay. You can't incentivize reviews. This has been banned for several years now. When I first started many years ago, the way people would get ranked or the way people would get reviews is we would give the product away for free, actually for free. Some people did a heavy discount, and Amazon would actually have a little, would require us to actually say this product was received for free in exchange for a review. And in 2016, several years ago, they actually cut that out, and that's not allowed anymore. So if you're trying to game the system by giving people products for free, and that includes rebating them, so that if you're doing something where you're actually, the people order the product, they're product testers, or they order the product through one of these sites or these companies that offer rebates, and then you ask for a review from that same person, if you get caught, yeah, you're going to have some trouble. You could have your listing or your entire account suspended. So be careful with that. You don't want to incentivize reviews at all. You don't want to lead people to do a 5-star review. You don't want to do any kind of leading people to water. So some people used to do like, if you don't like this product, please leave us a seller feedback, and then be a link to seller feedback. Because as I said in the last module, you're able to actually get seller feedbacks deleted if they're incorrect, if they're not in the inappropriate place. And if they would say if it's a positive review, click here and it will go to the regular review page. You can't do anything like that. You can't put anything in your inserts or in your follow-up emails that says, if you're happy, leave us a review. If you're not happy, contact us. You can ask people to contact you. That's no problem. If you have a problem, please contact us. But it cannot be positioned in such a way that it looks like it's like, if you're happy, leave us a review. If you're not happy, call us. You got to be careful with your wording there, or it can get you in trouble. And like I said, if you don't want to give people a free prize or a free product or a gift card or anything like that in exchange for a review, that can get you in trouble. The other thing is, you can't use friends or family. A lot of people have their mother or their father or their brother or maybe some of their friends. Amazon checks Facebook, and they have relationships with PayPal and some others. They can see these connections. And if they think there's a connection between you and somebody else, or they monitor who logs into the computer. Maybe you log into the computer. Maybe one time you shipped a birthday present to your uncle, and his address is in there, and then your uncle logs into Amazon to leave you a review for your product. Or he buys your product and leaves you a review. That can get you flagged. Usually what they will do is just not accept the review. But if it makes it through there and enough of that happens, it can be a problem. So you got to be careful. Or if you're in an office situation, I know people who've tried to get reviews or try to get ranking. They'll tell everybody in the office. They'll say, "Hey, why don't you, Johnny over here, you order 4 units today. Bob, you order 3 units. Susan, you order 2 units." And they try to get sales manipulation, and then some of them leave reviews. You can't do that. So anybody that's closely tied to you, be very, very careful. Reviews need to be from totally anonymous people who bought your product without any kind of incentive at all. They bought the product because they wanted the product. The only ones that are allowed to incentivize a review is Amazon themselves. They have something called the Early Reviewer Program. The Early Reviewer Program is open to everybody. Used to have to be brand registered, but now anybody can do it. The Early Reviewer Program is where you can pay Amazon $60. And for $60, they will go and get you 5 reviews. And I recommend everybody do this when they first launch. And the way they do it is they randomly choose people to actually go out and give a review. So randomly, people that buy your product, they will randomly choose some of those people and say, "Hey, if you leave a review, we'll give you like a $3 gift card to Amazon." That's okay. Amazon is allowed to do that. And it's a good program to help you get your first reviews. Amazon also has something called the Vine program, VINE. It's only available mostly to vendors and a few other people as well. But that's a special program of special reviewers that have been vetted by Amazon, where they actually will allow them to leave reviews. The other thing is, Amazon has the top reviewers list, and you can see like a rank of all the top reviewers. And there's some software that's like scraped this and made databases. Be careful using that. If you're giving those people those products for free or at a heavy discount, and they're leaving a review, that can get you in trouble. That used to be a great way to do stuff, but that can get you in trouble right now. So be very careful. You also can't deliberately attack your competition. It's illegal on Amazon against their terms of service to actually go up and make false claims. To go onto your competition's page and type, this product doesn't work, or it caught on fire, or leaving some sort of negative remarks, or upvoting or downvoting, or having someone come in and like taking their bad review and upvoting it so it's the top most negative review and trying to hurt their sales. Those things are against the rules. You can't do that. If someone does those to you, you should report that, and hopefully Amazon will take action on them. And you can use like the alerts tool. You can show the screenshot. Look, yesterday, here's a screenshot. This only had 3 upvotes, or is in position, whatever. And then today, look, there's like 100 people have upvoted. Use these tools that you have at your disposal from Helium 10 to really protect yourself if someone does this to you. Also, be careful with hazardous products. Hazardous products are regulated, so you got to make sure that your product is within the rules on Amazon. Otherwise, you can get into trouble. And some of the products that are not legal in all the states, like CBD oil, for example, it is a potential problem. So be careful with that. Also, be careful with emailing customers. Now, there are follow-up programs, like a follow-up from Helium 10 can actually legally send emails to customers. Customers have the right to opt out of that. And roughly about 30% of the customers on Amazon actually choose to not receive those emails. And so only about 70% of the people you actually send to actually receive the emails. And out of that percentage, only a small percentage actually open them up and look at them. But you're allowed to send emails through the Amazon system. Now, the emails are coded, so you don't actually know the email address of the people. And it's okay to send like customer service issues, or if you're trying to deal with someone that's got a complaint or a return. But don't send bulk emails through there. If you're doing like a bulk promotion, you can use some third-party software tools, but there is a limit. You can only send 600 emails plus your average a number of sales per day. So like if yesterday I did 30 sales, I can only send 630 emails the next day through the system. So Amazon does allow you a little bit of room there, but you can't like blast out an email to 10,000 of your previous customers announcing your next product. You could do a small subset, or I've had a problem in the past where I had a product that I sent it out and that I developed, and there was a problem with it. A certain type of phone didn't fit. And I was getting a lot of complaints. And so I wanted to be proactive about it. So what I did is I went into the Amazon system and I used a third-party tool to do this. And it actually emailed all my customers who had bought this product and said, hey, if you are using this particular type of phone, please let me know and I'll send you a replacement part that will actually fit the phone. But I had to break that up because of the rule of 600 plus your number of orders. So I had to do that over a series of days. So you don't want to blast out promotions like, hey, we're having a holiday sale or anything. Don't do any kind of that kind of stuff through the Amazon system. But if it's a customer service related issue, that's okay. Also, you really need to make sure you don't have multiple seller accounts without permission. Now, it's okay to have multiple accounts. I have an account, my wife has an account, we use the same computer. People a lot of times get all worried like, oh my gosh, I can't, Amazon's monitoring my IP address. What if I log into my account and my wife's account in the same computer? Is that going to get shut down? No, they're not going to get shut down. People are worried about on Wi-Fi networks at a conference or at a hotel. Don't log into your Seller Central account. You might get closed down. That's all old wives' tales. There's nothing true about that. Amazon they do monitor what's on your computer. They do know your IP address, but they know a lot more. They know the fonts that are installed, the screen size. They know there's a whole list of things that they monitor on your computer, and they can tell whether this is the same thing. Now, you can have multiple seller accounts, and sometimes you should. If you're doing multiple brands, some people put all their brands in one seller account. Other people spread their brands across multiple accounts because if you're going to sell them, it can keep it cleaner. It's up to you how do you set that up. Other people have partnerships, like maybe you have an account that's yours, and then you're partnered with another guy who invested some money, and so you have a reason for it. What you cannot do is sell the same products in multiple accounts. So if you have multiple accounts, and you need to get permission. If you send in permission, ask for permission from Amazon, they may ask you a bunch of questions like why do you need this permission? You got to fill out this big form. If you look down here in the notes, there's a template that you can use that I give to you. Just change where the blanks are, and that should help you if you have a legitimate reason to have a separate account. When you have a separate account, you got to make sure it's a separate bank account, a separate EIN, a separate address. I wouldn't even use the same bank. If you're using Chase for one account, I would probably recommend you use a different bank just to make sure there's no ambiguity. Everything is totally clear that these are separate. And like I said, you can't sell the same thing in each of those accounts. They got to be for different reasons and selling different things. Also, a lot of people sometimes will go and try to create fake orders. There's services that will do this for you. There's ranking services, and they're trying to, or they'll add a whole bunch of things to add to cart, trying to raise the BSR, your bestseller rank. So be careful with that. Anything that's rank manipulation, and that can include certain URLs. There's certain URLs. If you go to Helium 10 Gems, there's a list of really great URLs. We talked about that in an earlier module. That can help you for different purposes to link to different things on Amazon. But be careful with some other types of URLs that can be used for rank manipulation or any kind of thing to game the system, doing fake buys or fake add to carts or using credit cards that deliberately decline to add 50 to your cart, and then it stays there for 3 days and disappears, but that ranks. Just be careful on all that kind of stuff. That can get you in trouble. The other thing is with discounts. When you're dealing with discounts, Some people use these launch services. There's different ones out there, or they'll use Facebook ads, and they'll do big discounts. Amazon is really frowning upon heavy discounts. I recommend that you really try to avoid not doing discounts over 50%. There is evidence that if you do over 90%, you're actually flagged by Amazon. You actually get a big red flag. And a lot of these launch services and discount clubs and Facebook groups that are like launch groups, stay away from them because they have the same type of buyers. And a lot of these buyers are buying over and over. And a lot of these people are always buying cheap. They're never buying at full price. Amazon knows this. Some people believe there's a buyer score on Amazon, and they rank the buyers, and that can affect a number of things on your ranking, on all kinds of stuff. So be careful with that. If you're going to do discount, if you need to do an 80% discount, I'm not saying don't do that. Maybe there's a few times where you need to do that for a couple people, but if you do it in bulk, if you have a lot of orders come in a short period of time at more than a 50% discount, your account could get flagged. The other thing is you can't buy your own product and leave a review, or you can't buy your own product or have someone that's related to you buy your own product. Another thing is there's limits on how many reviews you can actually receive. Buyers are not supposed to leave more than 3 per day or 8 per month. And so sometimes you might have someone that's trying to leave you a review on your account and they're not authorized to leave you a review, or they're like, I can't leave one, maybe because they've left too many. So you got to be very, very careful with that as well. Another thing is doing variation manipulation. Some people will use variations, the parent-child relationship, to actually try to game the system. They might put multiple products that are not even related to each other in the same variations, or they might create something that's really not a different color or different size or something that's in there. You can't do that. I've seen people that have their ab roller with their workout gloves, with their pull-up bar, all in the same listing, trying to raise the rank of all of them, and you can't do that. So be very, very careful with variation manipulation. The other thing is if you're doing FBA and FBM, it's okay if you have an FBA listing that's warehoused by Amazon and shipped out, and you have an FBM listing of the same product, but they need to be on the same listing. They need to be variations of each other, not on separate listings. Amazon actually frowns on that. Another thing they don't like is if you're selling the same product under different names. If it's the same product and you're selling it under different names, trying to take all the real estate, it's a gaming system where people will try to take all the real estate. So they will take their same product, change the name. Sometimes it's even the same packaging. They'll just change it on Amazon. If it's truly a different product and there is a variation to it, it's totally different packaging, different bottle, different everything, that's okay. Some people do that. You can private label your own private label. But if it's the same thing, you can't do that. So some people will try to do that where they create multiple listings of the same product and just title them a little bit differently, use a little bit different pictures, but it's really the same thing. That's against the terms of service too. Also, on your main pictures, you want to make sure that they're always on a white background. Now, your other pictures can be whatever. They don't have to be on a white background. The terms of service actually kind of say they should, but they don't enforce that. So, but your main picture needs to be on a white background. You want to fill it as much as possible, and you can't put any graphics on there. You can't put like Christmas special or Prime Day special or bestseller. You see people do this from time to time, but it's actually against the rules, and you can actually have your listing suspended for that, and they'll require you to change that. You also want to make sure that you don't use trademark names in the listing. So you can't use brand names of somebody else. Like if you're selling shoes, you can't use the word Nike in your listing. Now there's certain things you can do, like in your title. We'll talk about that in the title. Like if you're selling Apple products, you can't call it an Apple phone charger because it's not made by Apple. But you can say this is Kevin's phone charger compatible with Apple. So we'll talk about that in another section. But be careful with using brand names and your keywords and your title in your back end. Those can get you in trouble. The brand register people that are serious go through and monitor that stuff. It can get your listing suspended as well. And so also, like I said, no unsubstantiated claims. So if you're selling supplements, or you're selling pet products, or you're selling exercise equipment or something, you got to be very careful with any kind of claims you make. Amazon's getting more and more picky on this. They didn't used to enforce it too much, but there's been some court cases and things come along. So if you can't say this will you will lose 10 pounds in 10 days unless you have studies and documents that back that up, or you can't say it's approved by the FDA when it's really not. You got to be very, very careful with some of the claims that you're making on your product. Make sure they're actually substantiated. Otherwise, it can get you into some bad trouble. Now, what happens if your account actually gets suspended? What if you do get suspended? What do you do? Well, if you look down in the links below, there's a couple people that we recommend you reach out to and contact that they're specialists in getting your account back up. There always is the first step that you usually do is you're going to respond to whatever the Amazon is telling you. And the thing is, when you do this, you always have to take responsibility yourself. Even if you know that there's nothing wrong, that this is some stupid customer or whatever, you always have to admit responsibility on yourself. Otherwise, Amazon's basically not going to do anything. They call these POAs or plans of action. You got to usually send these in if you do get suspended. Now, there are cases like if you have an image problem, usually you can just fix the image and upload a new image and you're good. Or if you have you go over the 5% refund rate and you're not in clothing, usually you can answer a few questions and they put you back up pretty quickly. But sometimes they actually take you completely down and you can't take any sales. And when that happens, you usually have to do what's called a POA or plan of action. And this is a written plan where you basically admit the problem and you tell Amazon how you're going to fix the problem and why it's not going to happen in the future. Now, some people will write really long emails. You got to keep these straight to the point. The people that deal with these, they're judged by how many of these they deal with per hour. So if you write some big long email that's just rambling on and on, they're just going to skip over it and just send you some canned response, and you're just going to get more frustrated. So you got to be straight to the point on these. You never blame Amazon and you never blame the customer, even if you know they're at fault. You have to take the responsibility. And sometimes Amazon won't even tell you what it is. They're getting better about this now. They have in the reporting now, they have some better things. They'll tell you why people are returning stuff, and there's some laws coming down that are going to require them to actually tell you this and not be able to suspend your account right away. California is leading the charge in that with some new laws for marketplace seller protections that could change this whole thing. But sometimes they don't even tell you why, and you got to kind of guess. And so you might have to write a couple emails before someone answers it. Well, you didn't answer the question about why this product fell apart on the floor. You're like, oh, okay, that's the reason. Now I know. So let me answer that. So you can try this on your own, and sometimes you're successful, and sometimes there's a lot of money on the line, and you need to act quickly. And there's people that used to work for Amazon. There's people that are lawyers. There's people that that used to sell on Amazon that have set up entire companies, and their whole specialty is helping you with this problem. And be honest with them. If you deal with them, don't lie. Don't say, I don't know what I did wrong. I haven't done anything wrong. Think about it and think about what it could have possibly been, and admit that, well, I did do this. I wonder if be honest with them. These people sometimes charge up in thousands of dollars, but they can get you back sometimes in 24 hours or less. So that is an option if you do have a problem and you've been suspended either because you unknowingly did something wrong or maybe you knowingly did something wrong. Reach out to one of these companies. There's a few of them in the links below that we recommend, and see if they can help you get back and up and running and start generating some cash again, so you can continue forward in your business. But hopefully none of this ever happens to you, because you've listened to what I've said here, and you're not going to do any of these things, and you're going to be a really good seller, and you're just going to sit back and crush it and continue to do good. So hopefully this will help you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next module.